Then we had Washington State going on the road at number 5 Ole Miss. And Jack, this game was way closer than it had a right to be. Washington State, a team that's getting blown out by just about everyone, goes on the road at Ole Miss, number 5 in the country, in their homecoming game, and they almost take it. They were leading for a lot of this game, Jack. Washington State.
This was incredibly surprising. I think the most surprising game of the week. This was,
Right.
I mean, Washington State has not had a great year so far. This is definitely a lackluster year. I mean, they're the back two, and they're one of two teams, and they have not looked great this year. And it was very surprising. I mean, there was not a lot of people in the crowd. Noise was definitely
Right.
like not a factor at all. No 12th man
Right.
there. And Lane Kiffin gave his thoughts, and he's like, why aren't people packing the house? I mean, you're supposed to win this game by like 50, and you only won it by
Right.
3. And at the end of the game, there was a PI,
Mhm.
and if it was the spot foul like NFL, Washington State is it, and it goes to overtime. But it was only 15 yards, and they had to do laterals and stuff, and they didn't get there. But like this is way too close, and I'm surprised that Ole Miss didn't drop down farther because I'm
Right.
not sure that this is a top 5 team, even with their resume. I would place in the pretender spot
Right.
because LSU didn't look great this weekend too, and that's their best win. And they've definitely faltered in the past with like Kentucky and Arkansas, but I don't know
Right.
about this team right now.
Right. I mean, it just makes no sense because we were talking about North Texas just got 60 hung on them by South Florida. North Texas hung 60 on Washington State. Washington scored 60 on Washington State. And then you go in and you only lose by a field goal. You're in a tight game in the fourth quarter against the number 5 team in the country. That's where it's like, okay, maybe you're not number 5, Jack? Because you're
Right,
telling me they'll
and
beat Alabama? You're telling me they'll beat Alabama right now? I don't see that. I don't know. They just you can't have that type of performance. And Ole Miss, we had said that was a team that was kind of shaky because they went on the road against Kentucky and barely won by a score. Then they came back home and still didn't play that great against Arkansas. And then, yeah, they beat LSU, but LSU has not had that great of wins. They were heavily inflated by Clemson, who's actually not great. And then they beat Florida as well, who now has 4 losses. And that's about it. They beat South Carolina too, but they've lost a couple times as well, where it's like maybe we got to kind of devalue that win at a certain point because it's like, okay, we overinflated them so much because we thought that win was so impressive that they had. So then we thought your impressive over them was so impressive. I'm saying impressive too much, but honestly, it just shows in college football you never really know who's good. And even though I think Ole Miss does deserve a top 10 spot, you can't tell me they're number 5 right now. And maybe on a resume basis, but then it's like, well, they haven't played great against teams that aren't good. And you can't be at home against Washington State, who's been dropped 60 points twice and even got dropped 60 on a team that just got dropped 60 on them. Where it's like, this isn't making sense. And maybe they are top 5. Maybe they are. Maybe we're just haters. I don't know. But the stats, when you look at the games, when you look at what's happening with Ole Miss, they do not look like a top 5 team at all, Jack.
they absolutely don't. I think this is a very embarrassing performance. I mean, everyone knew they were going to win this game, but they almost did. It was very surprising. This is really like, I mean, we said in the past that they've been shaky with some
Right.
games, like I just mentioned, Kentucky and Arkansas.
Right.
This one seems even worse for some reason because those were 2 in conference games.
Right.
Lane Kiffin's going to get his guys ready, but I don't see them beating like the top dogs in the SEC, like Texas A&M or Alabama, or even
Mhm.
I don't even know if they could beat LSU again with this performance. I'm not sure.
Right. Well, I don't know. I just feel like they were kind of looking ahead to Georgia next week. So this was kind of a trap game for them. And they really didn't take Washington State seriously. And they definitely should have. Like, it's just weird because I think Ole Miss is solid and they did control that game against LSU, still ranked pretty high. Like LSU has a great defense and they found a way to put up some points on them. So I think Ole Miss is still good, but it's like their performances and their close calls against teams that aren't good. Talk about them barely beating Kentucky, Georgia blew them out. Talk about them barely beating Arkansas. Notre Dame beat them by like 40 at least. I'd have to check the score, but it was bad. Where it's like if you're a top 5 team, you're not going to be this close with some of these teams. Like Washington State, North Texas beat them by 60. Not beat them by 60. They hung 60. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And I don't know how they're a top 5 team right now after playing a team that has not performed very well against bad teams, Jack.
I don't think so either, even with their resume. I mean,
Right.
I'm surprised Texas Tech is so low. I would definitely have them above them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I agree that they are a top 10 team, but
Mhm.
around where Oregon or Georgia would be, not top 5.
Right. Well, it's just undefeated
They
bias.
they do put a lot of stake in that LSU win, right? Yeah, it is undefeated bias as well.
Right, and they see that SEC logo too, so that definitely helps. But it's not like they've been bad, but like saying like, oh, it's a good SEC win when you're barely edging out teams like Kentucky and Arkansas. It's like, well, I mean, I get it, but it's like when you're doing the same thing against Washington State, that's where it's like, oh, I don't really know. And I was really confused with like the committee or the AP poll because they like had Ole Miss jump Texas A&M at first. We never did that with our top 25, and I was like, I'd say Texas A&M still has a better resume. I still feel better about Texas A&M, and then they ended up changing it to what we had already had. So yeah, honestly, Ole Miss is a solid team, I think, but they got to be properly motivated, and they can't take teams like this for granted. We saw what happened with Florida State. They took Virginia for granted. Like, this it's just you can't play like that against Washington State. And the fact that, like you said, like if the pass interference rules were different, this might be an overtime game. So it's like you shouldn't even be in that situation. They shouldn't have the ball with a chance to go down and score a field goal and tie the game. You're the number 5 team in the country. So this is honestly, it was a very embarrassing performance. Like, yeah, they got the win, but I'm very concerned with them going forward, Jack, especially when they play teams like Georgia.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely look again for the upset, these upcoming schedule. I mean, they cannot do this against Georgia
Right.
at all. They're going to get exposed. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll have their guys ready and not look ahead like they did this game. But this is definitely very concerning,
Right.
to say the least.
Right. It's definitely got to be a wake up call because you cannot play like this against a team like Georgia next week. Game day will be there. So we'll have to see how Ole Miss performs when. I mean, honestly, we'll have to really see, but they're going to go on the road at Georgia next week, and they cannot play like this. And I'm hoping that maybe it's just a classic example of a trap game. They were looking forward to Georgia, but this type of performance, it really will not fly against a team like Georgia next week.